Before I got diagnosed with lymphoma, I never really thought about potassium and why it's important. But when I started doing chemotherapy, I learned that this mineral actually plays a big role in our overall health, especially for someone like me who got treatment for cancer. And the whole reason why I got so interested in potassium was because my potassium levels got really low while I was doing chemotherapy. My doctor would always look at my blood tests and tell me that my potassium levels were low. Normal levels are between 3.5 to 5.3 milliequivalent per liter, or milliequivalent for short, and I was always around 3.1 to 3.2. So that's why I wanted to naturally raise my potassium levels, and I found that the best way to do that is through food. So today, we'll talk about my favorite 8 green foods that are rich in potassium. Plus, I'll also reveal why potassium is important in the first place, which potassium-rich foods look like a vegetable but is actually a fruit, which food is good for gut health and digestion, and the other life-changing benefits of these 8 foods. But before we continue, I just wanted to ask you to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and also hit that notification bell so that you know when my new videos come out. Also, I wanted to give you a free gift as my way of saying thanks, so keep watching for more details on that. So why is potassium so important in the first place? Well, most people take this for granted, but it's really an essential mineral that performs a lot of critical functions in the body. The thing about potassium is that after your body metabolizes it, it becomes an electrolyte. And as an electrolyte, it does a lot of important things like maintain the balance of fluids in the body, help the nervous system function properly, and regulate muscle functions, including the heart. So in a nutshell, potassium makes sure that the fluid inside and outside your cells are balanced. Also, potassium is the electrolyte inside the fluids in your cells, while sodium is the electrolytes in the fluids outside your cells. And the fluids outside the cells are your blood and spinal fluid. So, a lack of electrolytes can make the fluid inside your cells leak out, causing them to shrink. In some cases, outside fluids can rush into your cells instead, causing them to burst. Either way, a fluid imbalance can lead to dehydration, which is bad for the heart and kidneys. And like I said, electrolytes like potassium also help the nervous system by generating nerve impulses that travel back and forth between the body and brain, much like how a wire conducts an electrical signal. And this is important when it comes to regulating muscle functions, including the heart, since our muscles rely on these nerve impulses for them to work properly. So, eating potassium-rich foods helps you maintain these basic functions in your body. That brings us to my favorite foods that have a lot of potassium. Let's start with number 8, which is spinach. Okay, I'll admit that I'm not the biggest vegetable eater out there, so I like spinach because it makes it easier for me to eat healthier. I think it's got a nice crunchy texture and taste, and it's got a lot of nutrients on top of potassium. It also has calcium, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K1, and vitamin B9, also known as folic acid. Spinach also has iron, which helps the body create hemoglobin, and that's important to me personally because I experienced a lot of anemia during chemotherapy. And since spinach is so nutrient rich, you also get a lot of other benefits aside from the ones you already get from potassium. For example, some studies show that certain compounds in spinach are linked to slowing down and even preventing cancer. In one case, researchers found that those same compounds can slow down and shrink tumor growths. And in another study, they can reduce the risk of prostate cancer. Not only that, but other research shows that spinach can also reduce something called oxidative stress. Oxidative stress happens when free radicals in your body damage cells, which leads to premature aging and cancer. And a study found that those who ate spinach experienced lower levels of oxidative stress, which of course is a good thing. Let's move on to number 7, which is beet greens. I never really heard of beet greens until I moved to New Zealand. And this is the leafy part that's attached to the beet root. And as it turns out, beet greens are just as nutritious. Like the other green foods we've covered, this one is packed with fiber, which is good for digestion and balancing your blood sugar. And it also has a lot of antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients like potassium. Beet greens are also great for preventing anemia because of its iron and vitamin B6 content. And both these nutrients can help your body create red blood cells. Eating beet greens is also great for your heart because it has nitrates. And your body transforms nitrates into nitric oxide, which benefits your cardiovascular system. In fact, there was a study done at Massey University, and the researchers found that consuming beet juice and beet greens offer a lot of benefits like lowered blood pressure, better circulation, and a lower risk of heart disease. It's also easy to add beet greens to your diet. You can include the leaves in your salad, make a smoothie out of them, or add it to your soup. Let's move on to the next one, which is broccoli. Now, this one is a favorite of mine because it's packed with a lot of nutrients and fiber. Just 1 cup of broccoli will give you protein, fiber, vitamins A, B9, C, and K, selenium, and of course, potassium. And 1 cup is barely 100 grams. So imagine if you had more of this every day. You get even more health benefits from adding this green food to your meals. The other great thing about broccoli is its antioxidant content, which protects your body against free radicals that cause cell damage. Not only that, broccoli is dense with vitamin C, which I mentioned earlier, and studies show that vitamin C boosts the immune system. And better yet, broccoli also has plant-based compounds which cut down on inflammation. One study looked at the effects of broccoli intake on young male smokers, specifically with their inflammation markers, and the researchers found that those markers significantly went down. There's even research on broccoli's role in preventing specific types of cancer, such as breast cancer. More studies are being done on this, but the results are promising so far. So, it's safe to say that broccoli is an amazing green food that you should have more of. Before we jump into our next green food, it's time to claim your free gift. It's my free ebook called 5 Ways I Cope with My Lymphoma Diagnosis, and it's about how I dealt with learning about my condition. It's just a little something I want to share with you, and it's my way of saying thanks for being with me on my journey. You can download it by clicking on the link in the description below. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Zucchini, also known as summer squash, is a distant relative of melons and cucumbers, and while it looks like a vegetable, it's actually considered a fruit. So like the other green foods on our list, it's rich in potassium, along with other nutrients like calcium, protein, manganese, copper, thiamine, and phosphorus. And aside from getting good amounts of potassium, zucchini is also rich in fiber, which is good for people with type 2 diabetes and people with heart health issues. Zucchini is also rich in vitamin C and beta-carotene, so having this green food in your diet also improves eye health. I've eaten zucchini in different ways, such as spiralizing it into noodles for pasta dishes. It also goes well in soups, or as part of a dish with baked vegetables. You could also cut it into thin slices and saute it in olive oil. Alright, our next green food is artichokes. It's a bit of an odd-looking vegetable, and you can steam, grill, boil, or roast it. Artichokes provide a good serving of potassium, along with other nutrients and plant-based compounds that help us in different ways. For example, one study shows that eating artichokes can prevent liver damage and even help with the growth of new cells. And if you got high blood pressure, you might want to consider adding artichokes to your diet. The potassium and other nutrients in this vegetable helps reduce blood pressure and expand blood vessels, so that's good news for your heart. Okay, let's get into number 3 on our green foods list, which is asparagus. This is another favorite of mine. My wife likes to roast asparagus in the oven with a little bit of garlic and olive oil, and it goes great with a lot of dishes. But you can also cook asparagus in other ways like baking, grilling, boiling, or sauteing it. And like broccoli, 1 cup packs a lot of nutrients, which includes protein, healthy fat, fiber, vitamins A, C, and E, iron, zinc, folate, phosphorus, and of course, potassium. It's also low in calories, so you don't have to worry about having an extra serving of asparagus if you're like me. And on top of the excellent potassium content, asparagus is also great for digestion because of its fiber. Studies show that consuming fiber-rich foods helps with bowel movements, and also by feeding friendly gut bacteria like lactobacillus. And good gut health is linked to lower blood pressure and blood sugar, so the more fiber you have, the better off you are. That brings us to number 2 on our list, which is bok choy. Bok choy is a white cabbage that originated from China, and it's a very nutrient dense. It's especially high in potassium and vitamin C. One of the great benefits of bok choy is its antioxidant and anti-cancer properties. It has a lot of nutrients and compounds that reduce a lot of cell damage, and this is important because this is linked to things like inflammation, oxidation, and cancer. There was a 2012 study done at the University of Milan, and they found that eating bok choy can reduce the chances of getting different kinds of cancer. Plus, bok bok choy also supports thyroid function and promotes good bone health. You can include bok choy in a lot of Asian dishes, and you can cook it in different ways, such as stir-frying it. And that brings us to the number one green food rich in potassium, which is Brussels sprouts. It's got a lot of nutrients as well, which offer a ton of health benefits. Brussels sprouts are actually related to other superfoods like kale and cauliflower, and they belong to the Brassicaceae family of vegetables. And they also have lots of antioxidants too. According to studies, eating 2 cups every day can greatly reduce oxidative stress. And this is an imbalance between free radicals and antioxidants in your system. When you have too many free radicals floating around, it causes oxidation, which damages healthy cells. And the other benefit of antioxidants in Brussels sprouts is that it can also decrease cancer cells, reduce inflammation, and even reduce the risk of heart disease. And the biggest surprise for me was the fact that Brussels sprouts also contain omega-3 fatty acids. When I think of omega-3, fish like salmon come to mind. But as it turns out, this green food also has this healthy fat which your body needs. Studies show that omega-3 intake has a lot of uses, such as cutting down on harmful triglycerides, protecting the brain, fighting insulin resistance, and boost heart health. And there you have it. Those are the 8 green foods that are high in potassium. Which one is your favorite? And are there any green foods you like that weren't on the list? Let me know in the comments below. Before you go, don't forget to download my free ebook called 5 Ways I Cope with My Lymphoma Diagnosis. Just click the link in the description below this video. And if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so that you know right away when my next video comes out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.